So dear students, studying about the each compartment of thigh. So we are happen to see the anterior compartment, medial compartment. Today we will do the muscles of posterior compartment. So let's go ahead with the posterior compartment of thigh, which is called as flexor compartment. So posterior compartment muscles are called as hamstring muscles. So this compartment is otherwise also called as hamstring compartment. Yes. Flexor compartment, because it helps in the flexion of the knee joint, so they are called as flexor compartment. So these hamstring muscles include the muscles which get origin from the ischial tuberosity, and along with one more short muscle called as short head of biceps, altogether forms the posterior compartment. So nerve which is present in this compartment is the sciatic nerve, and there are arterial anastomosis on the back of the leg. Let's talk about the muscles of back of thigh in detail. So these muscles on the back of thigh or the posterior compartment are called as hamstring muscles. Why they are called as hamstring? Because in Latin ham means back of the thigh. So if you are all happen to eat hamburger, so ham is a lamb. Posterior compartment, if you see in any butcher shops, the lamb is hanged, the dead lamb, it is hanged by a string on its posterior compartment. So these muscles are used to string it up. So that is the reason it is called hamstring group of muscles. So let's see these muscles. What are these hamstring muscles? Semitendinosus, semimembranosus, biceps femoris, and one more called as ischial part of adductor magnus. So these four muscles are considered as hamstring. So I'll write here. Semitendinosus means semi means half, tendinosus means it is half of the muscle is tendon like. That is the reason it is called semitendinosus. Next is semimembranosus, means half of the muscle is membrane like. Biceps femoris, bi means two, seps means head. So biceps femoris, the long head of biceps femoris is a part of hamstring compartment, and apart from that, part of adductor magnus which is called as ischial part of adductor magnus. So these are the muscles which are present in the hamstring compartment, which are called as hamstring muscles. So there are some special unique features which are called as the characteristic features of hamstring muscles. So there are the laws which these four muscles follow is, one is all of them get origin from ischial tuberosity. So all these muscles get origin from ischial tuberosity. If you know the ischium, it is a part of hip bone. So the posterior inferior part of the hip bone is ischium, which has got a rough posterior thickened structure called as ischial tuberosity. So this is ischial tuberosity. So all these muscles origin is from ischial tuberosity. That's one thing. Second is all these muscles are inserted into one of the bones of the leg. Means either it is inserted to the head of fibula or it is inserted to the medial or lateral condyles of the tibia. That is medial part of the shaft of the tibia or medial and lateral. So it gets inserted to the bones of the legs, except for the adductor magnus muscle. Except for this adductor magnus muscle, the adductor magnus it gets its insertion within the femur itself. So except that, rest all the muscles, what semitendinosus, semimembranosus, biceps femoris, all these muscles, they get inserted to any one of the leg bones. Next, all these muscles gets their nerve supply, so they are supplied by tibial part of sciatic nerve. That is the third rule. So all these muscles are supplied by tibial part of sciatic nerve, And all these muscles, they are the flexors of the knee joint, and we can see they are crossing the hip joint also. So they act as extensors of the hip joint. So that is the action in common. So the posterior thigh muscles are named hamstrings because their tendons on their back of the knee and are used to hang up hams. So that is lamb. Ham is nothing but lamb. So like hip and thigh regions of the animals like lamb, pigs and all. So this part of muscles are ham. So they put a string into it. So they are called hamstring muscles. So the adductor magnus reaches only up to the adductor tubercle of the femur. Already I said. So adductor magnus is exceptional. It reaches only till the adductor tubercle, but it is included under the hamstring group of muscles because the tibial collateral ligament of the knee joint is morphologically a degenerated tendon of this muscle. So tibial collateral ligament, which is present on this side. So the tibial collateral ligament, which is nothing but morphologically the degenerated tendon of it is a part of adductor magnus. So that is the reason it is included in this group. So we will talk one by one now. So first muscle which we are going to discuss is biceps femoris. Biceps femoris, as its name implies, it consists of two heads, long head and short head. Long head arises from the lower medial part of upper quadrilateral area of ischial tuberosity. So if you see this ischial tuberosity, this part I am talking about, it appears to be like this from the posterior side, and you can divide it into upper and lower part by a transverse ridge. Further, the upper part is divided into medial and lateral parts. So this biceps femoris, that is the long head of biceps femoris, it is not about the short head. So the long head, it gets origin from the medial part of the quadrilateral area, means this part. So this is the lateral side, this is medial side. So it gets origin from the medial part, and along with in common with a muscle called as semitendinosus. So biceps femoris, this is biceps femoris. It gets origin along with semitendinosus. So these two muscles gets origin as a conjoined tendon, and also this biceps femoris also gets origin partly from the sacrotuberous ligaments. So that is the origin of biceps. Short head arises from the lower part of the lateral lip of the linea aspera. So posteriorly, the rough part of the femur, this rough part is called as linea aspera. So the short head of biceps femoris, it gets origin from the lateral lip, lower part of the lateral lip of the linea aspera, means here. So here it gets origin. So that is the origin of short head of biceps. Both the heads, they get converge and unite in the lower third of the thigh and to form a conjoined tendon, and they slope downwards laterally to get inserted to the head of fibula. So we can see here it gets inserted to the head of fibula. So that is the insertion. So it gets inserted to the head of fibula, to be more specific, in front of the styloid process of the upper end, that is head of fibula. So if you see this biceps tendon, it's usually folded or it's split by a ligament called fibular collateral ligament or lateral collateral ligament of knee joint. The nerve supply, as a rule of hamstrings, the long head is supplied by tibial part of sciatic nerve. So the nerve supply is tibial part of sciatic nerve, and short head, it is supplied by the common peroneal nerve of sciatic nerve. So short head is not a hamstring muscle, So short head is supplied by common peroneal part of sciatic nerve. Next muscle is the semitendinosus. Semitendinosus, it is so named because the lower half of the muscle is a tendinous part. So that is the reason it is called semitendinosus. It gets origin along with the long head of biceps femoris from the lower medial part of ischial gut. If you see the ischial tuberosity, this is the ischial tuberosity which is divided into upper and lower, and within the upper part again we can divide into upper lateral, this is lower medial. So it gets origin along with the long head of biceps from the lower medial part of upper part of this. So we can just say that it gets origin from the ischial tuberosity, that is medial part, upper part, medial part of ischial tuberosity. So that is the origin of semitendinosus along with the long head of biceps femoris, and it is a fleshy in the upper part and it forms a cord-like tendon in the lower part, and it lies along with the semimembranosus muscle. And if you see its insertion in the lower part of the thigh, it diverges medially, it goes towards the medial side and passes behind the medial condyle of the femur, and still more it goes down, then curves downwards to get inserted into the upper part of the medial surface of the tibia. So we can see it slides down on the medial side of the knee joint and gets inserted to the upper part medial surface of tibia along with the insertion of two more muscles called as sartorius gracilis. So these three muscles together get inserted. Sartorius is from anterior compartment, gracilis is from medial compartment, semitendinosus is from the posterior compartment or hamstring compartment. So these three muscles together they get inserted, called as gyropes muscle. And the nerve supply of the semitendinosus, it is supplied by the tibial part of sciatic nerve like any other hamstring muscles. The next muscle here is the semimembranosus. Semimembranosus means half of the muscle, that is it is so called because it is broad muscle, and is half of it is like membranous, lower part if we see, if it is thick membranous like, so it is called membranosus. It arises from the upper lateral part of the ischial tuberosity. So if we are seeing this ischial tuberosity, so medial part is for the semitendinosus and long head of biceps, whereas the lateral part, so this part is for semimembranosus muscle. So that is the origin of semimembranosus from the ischial tuberosity, and it gets inserted, you can see here it runs towards the medial side of the tibia and gets inserted to the medial condyle of tibia. So it is getting inserted to the horizontal groove on the back of the medial condyle of tibia. Origin we know it is from ischial tuberosity. And it is also supplied by the tibial part of sciatic nerve. Next about the ischial head of adductor magnus. So here is the adductor magnus. So adductor magnus we can divide into two parts, ischial part and adductor part. So the adductor part we can see it gets origin from the conjoined part of ischiopubic ramus, whereas the ischial part, it is the posterior part, here it is. So the ischial part gets origin from the ischial tuberosity. So to be specific, this is the ischial tuberosity. So it gets origin, it arises from the inferolateral part of ischial tuberosity, whereas the inferomedial part, one thing we have to note here, this part it is not having any muscle attachment. So no muscle attaches to the inferomedial part. It is just covered by a fibrofatty tissue over which we sit usually. So that is about the inferomedial part. Inferolateral part, adductor ischial part of adductor magnus will get origin. So this is magnus, and if you see its insertion, it descends almost vertically downwards to be inserted down. So the ischial part gets inserted here, which is called as adductor tubercle. So adductor tubercle is an important landmark which is present on the near the medial epicondyle of femur. So that it gets inserted to the adductor tubercle. So actions of all these hamstring muscles, they act as chief flexors of the knee joint and weak extensors of hip joint. So it is a flexor compartment, so helps in flexion at knee joint and extension at hip joint. So except adductor magnus muscle, adductor magnus muscle, we know it is not crossing the knee joint. So adductor magnus muscle will help only in the extension of hip, that is the ischial part of adductor magnus, not complete adductor magnus. So ischial part of adductor magnus, its action is to extend the hip joint. So nothing to do with the knee joint because it doesn't cross the knee joint at all. So the action of the hamstring muscles restricts the range of motion of the hip flexion and when the knee is extended. So like during toe touching and all, these muscles will restrict the movement of hip flexion. Next, the hamstring muscles are the hip extensors. We know during walking on the flat ground, when the gluteus maximus muscle is minimally active. So these hamstring muscles are very helpful for normal walking and all. Gluteus maximus muscle will become active only during climbing and fast running. So they are the chief flexors of the knee joint and weak extensors of the hip joint. So the two actions can be performed maximally at the same time. So that is the main function of hamstring muscles. So the clinical significance of these muscles, if hamstring muscles are paralyzed, means if the tibial part of sciatic nerve is injured, causes the paralysis of hamstring muscles, the patient tends to fall forward because the hamstring muscles restricts the backward fall of the trunk. So the patient tends to fall forward because the gluteus maximus muscle cannot maintain the necessary tone in upright standing posture. So that is one of the clinical significance of hamstring muscles. So this completes the muscles of posterior compartment of thigh. Thank you.